Radio Zero is proud to welcome two very special guests tonight. Please introduce yourselves.
Yeah, this is L.E.O, Love Equals Omnipotence, one half of the 40-40.
And this here is your man Last Measure, the other half of the 40-40.
Thank you so much. Now that we have two of you on at the same time, I'd like to find out from each of you how you got started in music in the first place.
Well, me, myself, here, Last Measure, got a long history going back to the 90s. I originally started with a group called Untitled Chapter, which was consisted of about 13 members. But, we had a long recording history. We did a lot of music together, just never really anything as far as like actual putting out albums and stuff like that. Nothing really ever came into fruition. So I was just kind of like jumping from group to group. And then after a while, it was just like I started doing my own thing and started doing solo music and stuff like that. And basically started actually putting out albums in 2012. So, which my first album was High Voltage, and that was my introduction to the music world. And then from there, basically, just been grinding, putting out constant music, linking up with new people here and there. And along that journey of putting out music on my own, I started forming other groups and came across my brother right here, L.E.O. And then him and I started working on music, and that's pretty much where we at now.
Yeah, and same thing for me. I started off as a fan of music always, and then sometime in like the mid-90s, I started just doing music on my own, little demos with my brother Explicit. And then, from there, like the late 90s, early 2000s, I got with a group called Unleashed by Science. And we were recording things for like a good 3-year period. I put out a solo joint that was produced by my brother Explicit called Blue in the Vein. This was around the same time he was producing for Master Ace, Beatnuts, and artists like that, and Lost Professor. So then from there, I took a little break, and then I came back with a second album called Spiritual Intelligence that was produced by the Lost Professor. And then from there, just, was doing music on my own, same thing as Last Measure. Groups here and there, other people, but nothing really like ever panned out serious. And then, I started putting out music seriously again in 2012, and been doing shit every year since then. And, I linked up with my brother Last Measure, like sometime in like, 2013, 2014, and we've been rocking ever since. So that's pretty much brings us to today.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. I just want to ask you both, now that you say that you both started in the 90s, can you paint a picture of the music scene in the 90s? What were you hearing? What was inspiring you at that time?
That's a great question. I think, when you first start, especially, we're both from Queens and we're both from New York City. I think, your first indoctrination into music was probably like, for me, was Run DMC LL. And then Video Music Box was really important, Ralph McDaniels. And from there, it was, BET, Rap City, Yo MTV Raps on MTV. Those were always the outlets to, for you to see music early in the late 80s, early 90s. And then when you got to the mid-90s is when you start, or early to mid-90s, you start seeing the underground scene in New York. And you saw like Stretch and Bobbito, shows like that, Martin Moore and DJ Mayhem, DJ Ridge, shit like that, awesome too. And from there, then, then you start going to shows and like that, then, you start seeing Public Enemy live. And then underground shows where you see like Natural Elements, Lyricist Lounge, Last Emperor, groups like that, artists like that who are legendary in their own right. And from there, it was just an amazing scene back then because, that's when Fat Beats first started opening up. So you had very few record stores like Fat Beats, Beat Street, Numbers Records on Junction Boulevard in Queens, Hot Wax in Jamaica. There was only a small number of pocket stores, Rock and Soul in Midtown, that had like, the music you were looking for, these underground independent things. So it was very rare to see them. It wasn't in the mainstream or in the limelight. It was more like a tri-state thing. But when you did get your hands on it, it was like gold. And listening to the radio shows, you made your own pause tapes from them. And you'd always play the new freestyles from Big L, the new demos from Nas. And, it was a very, very vibrant time. There was a big camaraderie during then, and you saw a lot of artists working together and just being fans. And it was a very magical experience, and I'm going to let Last Measure tell a little bit more about it, from his own viewpoint.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, all of that he just said was definitely essential. And as part of the culture back then. And as far as influences to like me, which, you know, I'm pretty sure L.E.O as well has some of the same influences, but you know, guys like Rakim, Big Daddy King, Cool G Rap, you know, KRS-One, and groups to that effect, you know, the all-time greats considered now. Those were all part of our major influences, and, you know, other underground groups as well, you know, as far as Wu-Tang, Redman, like, you know, those caliber kind of guys always been our influence. And, you know, we always, as far as myself, like, I always prided myself in the fact that, you know, at that time, like, everybody had their own style, and nobody was like trying to mimic or copy each other's style and stuff like that. So as far as that, you know, I developed my own style and started putting out my own music, and I'm pretty sure it was pretty much the same for like L.E.O, you know.
You have an album that you've just released. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so, you know, me and Last Measure started working together on the music tip. We had mutual friends that we discovered, you know, from the same neighborhoods and whatnot. And then, like, in 2013, 2014, we started deciding to, you know, we're doing some features for each other. Then we're like, hey, let's do a project. This is real organic. So we originally put out an album called Dark Side of Humanity in 2017, which was really, really nice project with a different blend of producers, you know, from the overseas and from local in-house guys like Carnage, Silencer, people we worked with regularly. And then from there we were working on the second album, and, you know, we were in close contact with our brother DJ NUT from No Ideas Original Radio Show from Vassar College in upstate New York. Shout out to them, to that show. And so, you know, we were good brothers with him, and through him we linked up with Supreme the Almighty, one of upstate's finest producers there. And originally he was working on an EP, and he had hit us up individually because we had done a promo for his show, Back to Basics. And we did the promo for Back to Basics. It was a really nice joint. He used to play at the intro of his show. And then he was working on an EP with different artists, and he hit us up individually to do some solo joints for it. And that EP never panned out, but the solo joints me and Last Measure did were so dope that we kind of just got together, the three of us, and said, hey, why don't we just do a project and build a project from this? And then, you know, we were real picky with the beats, and must have gone through like maybe 50 to 60 of his beats, and we picked like the 13 best ones we could find. And from there we banged them out 13 in a row. We picked 13, we banged them out, and that became the basis of the album, which is called the Supremacy Doctrine. Both albums are out on all digital retailers, so you can get it on Bandcamp. You can get it on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Apple Music. So they're both out everywhere. And, you know, it's been getting a really nice response to the album. We just put out the video, which is the two solo songs, ironically, What's That and We Reign Supreme. So that's out there on YouTube as well. Check that out. And, you know, just the album's been getting a real nice response, and we're really, really happy with it. It's definitely our finest work to date. And, you know, we're always talking to Supreme, and, you know, who knows what may happen in the future with part 2 to that.
We've been playing some of your songs from that album on the show. Every single track has been absolute fire. So salute to you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate that.
Are you out performing at the moment?
Right now, at the moment, we are not actually performing as of yet, but we do plan to maybe in the near future go out there and make some appearances and tear the roof down in a couple of places, you know.
Yeah, we've been promoting the album. Like, you know, we went out to Vassar College to No Ideas Original Radio Show a couple of weeks ago, and we promoted the album out there. We actually got to meet Supreme the Almighty for the first time, which was really nice. And we got to build with him. We were building it with him for a couple hours out there. So, you know, we've been promoting it. We're definitely probably going to hit up Gorilla Grooves Radio soon, which are our brothers. Shout out to DJ Fred Ones and Rhino Funk and Lifelong. So we're definitely promoting the album and putting it out there and getting the word. As far as shows, you know, we're talking to some places. So, you know, we'll see what pans out in the future, but we'll definitely let you guys know and, you know, hit you up so you can check it out.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I saw something on one of your pages about a podcast. Do you do a podcast?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, the show, 4040 is a smaller collective, part of a bigger group called the Killer Monsoon. which is 4040, our brother Quest, our brother Speak No Evil, and our brother Speak No Evil, him and myself, we do a podcast called the Drop a Gem Show. And we've been doing it for the last 3 years, and pretty much what it is, it's a show where we have, various hip-hop legends on, and we go through a retrospective of their careers, starting from their beginnings, their humble beginnings, their early entry into the industry, and then talking about their classic albums and what they're doing currently. We've been doing it for the last 3 years. It's been a really great experience. We've interviewed some pretty famous people like, Pete Rock, Seal Smooth, Freddie Fox, Lord Finesse, Percy P, Psycho Les from the Beatnuts, Chi Ali, Large Professor, Royal Flush, Tragedy Gaddafi, Chai Skills, Rest in Peace, Last Emperor. So we've definitely, we're always, we just did our 100th episode with J. Rue the Damager, which was incredible. So we're definitely, always pushing it forward. It's now on, we just got it on iTunes podcast and Google podcast. So definitely check for it there. Drop a Gem Show. And it's been a really amazing experience. It's like the kid in me, the 15-year-old me, like always geeks out from it. And, it's really been going strong, and there's been a real positive reception to it. And, so we're going to keep it moving, and, we'll see what happens.
That is beautiful. And when I saw the name of the podcast, I was like, yes, we need more of that, So that's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, moving forward, do you both have any unfulfilled dreams or aspirations that you're wanting to fulfill in the future?
That is a great question. I mean, but to me, like, as far as being satisfied with the music and my dreams and aspirations, like, at this moment, I'm not expecting to be like a blown up artist, like, who's looking for a record deal with a major industry company, anything like that. Like, to me, all my pleasure really comes from, feedback we get from the music projects we get to put out and the videos and stuff like that. Whatever love we get from that, that's really all the love and acceptance to me that I personally need. Like, I don't need to be like a famous person. I'm not looking to be famous or anything like that. At this point in my life, I'm just doing it for the love, and that's really what it's all about for me.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Last Measure said, I agree. I think the only real dream, I think, is just for more people to hear it and more people to share it, whether it's the podcast or the music. But, whatever love we get is always a blessing, and I'm with him. Like, we have our own careers. We do this for the love. This is strictly just for a contribution to the culture that helped raise us. And, so whatever love we get is a blessing, and if we don't, we're still going to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? We have other things in the pipeline. The Killer Monsoon, like I said, 4040 is part of a bigger group called the Killer Monsoon. We have an album, our debut album for Killer Monsoon called Monsoon Season, Don't Step in the Shallow Waters. That's dropping on Election Day, November 6th. So you're going to see that on all digital retailers, Bandcamp, Spotify, et cetera, and so forth. And, from there, 4040 is going to keep it rocking. The Drop a Gem Show, we still got some more episodes coming up with some big guests I don't want to talk about right now in case it doesn't pan out, but,
sure.
We're expanding. The Drop a Gem TV is expanding. And 4040, our next project's going to be with our a very talented producer from France named Casti. We have a project with him called 40 Below. We'll drop that early next year. I know Last Measure, he's got some secret projects if you want to talk about them right now.
We also as well, right now I'm building on a project with my brother Seth Silence, who also does a lot of production for my brother L.E.O. And so him and I got together to work on the album, and that's pretty much all recorded. Just got a few more things here and there to put together for it and finalize it, get it all mixed and mastered, and that'll definitely be dropping as well for next year as a solo project, something you can all expect from me to come at you with.
Yeah, and I'll also be dropping a solo project produced by my brother Explicit. He produced Acknowledge for Master Ace back in the days, In the Sun for Large Pro and Q-Tip. So we got a nice little project in the works which should come out in the next year. Yeah, and then 4040, we got some other things in the pipeline as well. So you're always going to see a project from us every year. I also dropped a project a couple of months ago from my brother Age called Luminous, which is autographs on photographs. You can get that on all digital retailers as well, and we're working on some future things. So, like, the whole point with us is, like, in our older years is to constantly keep it creative, be inspired, and, to try to leave a little mark however we can. And, really, that's really the mind frame moving forward for 2018 and every year after that.
And you are an inspiration, by the way, as well as being inspired. You are an inspiration to a lot of us out here, so thank you. Are you doing features?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Always we do features. I mean, you could, on Instagram, I don't have a solo page. Last Measure does. It's One Last Measure 5, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Or Last Measure 5. Mm-hmm. And you could reach me through L.E.O, through the Drop a Gem Show. We got an Instagram page. You can find both of us on Facebook, Twitter. So, we're definitely out there. If people want to hit us up or collaborate, we're not those dudes that are charging or anything like that. If it's dope, we get on it. It's really that simple. And, we're doing, I think that's one of the cool things about social media and doing music in this age is that, we can work with people from France, from, Texas, from Illinois, from Canada, everywhere across the globe, Sweden, and, and it gets out there, different languages, and we think it's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, you definitely catching us on features everywhere. We were just featured, on our good brother, DJ NUT. He came out with a compilation called The Power of Words, which Supremacy Almighty got a bunch of production on. And we have a song on there called Ample Time, which we were really proud of. And, I was featured on the compilation by Dre Yard recently, in the spring, called Superpower MCs or something like that. So that was a good look. And we're constantly working, and you'll see us on future things. Before the year's out, you'll probably see us on another 3-4 projects from other artists. So everything's looking good.
Any shout outs from either one of you before I let you go?
Oh man, well, we could definitely want to shout out our Killer Monsoon fam, Rob Hanson, Speak No Evil, Quest, Mac Motion, Son of Val, West Studi, Booger Brown, rest in peace to Booger Brown, rest in peace to our brother Carnage, and of course shout out to my man Self Silencer, Explicit, what I mean, everybody in the building, all our peoples, Kesty, Supreme Almighty, DJ NUT, the whole fam, everybody, shout out to y'all for always holding us down.
Yeah, pretty much, I shout out everyone Brother Last Measure said, and just, check us out. I mean, you can find us on Bandcamp, Love Equals Omnipotence. You can catch us on Spotify. We got our own page, the 4040. My brother Last Measure got his own page. I got my own page, Love Equals Omnipotence. You're going to see the Killer Monsoon coming in the next couple of weeks. Drop a Gem Show on iTunes and Google Podcasts. So we're out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Whether we're under the name of 4040, Killer Monsoon, Drop a Gem Show, it doesn't matter. It all comes from the same good place of quality. And, we just, like I said, we're just trying to make a contribution to this culture that helped raise us. And hopefully we're doing that, and we're just going to keep on doing that till the wheels fall off, so to speak. So, come fuck with us.
Yes, sir. And one last thing, please. I'd like for you to introduce any one of your songs, and we'll play it right now.
Oh, you know what? All right. From the Supremacy Doctrine, Belligerent Minds with SC Static. Just 'cause that's another talented brother from upstate. Shout out to SC Static. Supremacy Almighty put us on to him, and he's really, really talented. He's doing a lot of things right now. You can check out his page as well, and I think that's a cool little collaboration we got to do. I love that joint. So that's my pick. You got your own pick, Last Measure?
Well, if I had to pick another one, I'd definitely pick the one with my brother Quest, Mike Tap.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
'Cause guy, like you said, we doing the feature thing. I show love to the features and all of that. So we appreciate them for jumping on the project. It was a blessing to have them on there, coming through, blessing us with the crazy lyrics. And that's what it's all about. So if anything, I'll play that. Level Up Ultra. Mike Tap.
Thank you so much. Much love to both of you. I appreciate you being here. You're welcome back anytime you want to come on. Just give me the word and we'll get you on, okay?
Most definitely. We would definitely look forward to that in the future. We got more projects coming out. So, yeah, we're definitely going to hit you up and we'll build. And thank you once again for having us. It was a supreme honor, and we're humbled and flattered. And, we look forward to the next one.
All right. Take care, guys. Peace.
Likewise.
Bye.
Peace.
One love.